Hi, class. Welcome to another activity in digital marketing. Today, I want to talk about advertising on Instagram to help get you ready for your next assignment. And specifically, I want to talk about carousel ads today and how you could create carousel ads as one type of marketing on social media for Instagram. So, what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how to create carousel ads a couple of different ways, one of them being Adobe Express. And then I'm going to show you how you can post carousel ads using Meta Business Suite. So let's get started. If you haven't logged into your Adobe Express yet, you're going to go ahead and head there. And once you do get into your Adobe Express, you're going to hit the social media and ads tab here at the top, however you want to get to there. Because when you do get to that social media and ads section, you see templates here in the middle that you can use. And one of them is an Instagram carousel. So that's really what we're looking at today. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that Instagram carousel template. And I'm just going to browse through some of the templates that they have here for carousels and just kind of show you what some of them look like. You'll see if they have this little icon in the corner. That's for premium. It's like a premium template, and you have to have premium access to use those templates, which if you're signed in under the Southwest Tech account, you do have access to those premium templates, which is kind of cool. And then if you click on that carousel to use it, you would see the template load up, and at the bottom, you would see the three different carousel slides. You can click on other templates to check those out as well. And again, you can click on the slides to see the different carousel slides that are available for that. So the nice thing with Adobe Express is it can help you work quicker by having those templates created for you. You can still create from scratch and you can modify those templates just like we've taught in previous videos. For this activity, I'm just going to show you what it would be like using this template because I'm going to show you how you can add more slides or pages and a few other tricks here in Adobe Express. With this template, and other templates, I want you to be aware now of this learn feature up top. And maybe when you choose this template, it automatically comes up for you because this template actually has like a tutorial built in with it from Adobe Express. So if you were to click that learn category, if it's not up, click that learn category and you'll see you can learn how-tos, what's new, or discover. And you might find this helpful for other things. Like the what's new part is kind of neat. They're even talking about, let's see, how to add trending and copyright safe music with the NCS add-on. So I actually wasn't aware of this until discovering and looking through the learn and the what's new. I've even recently had a student ask me about music and was telling me about some of the copyright restrictions they were running into. And so then when I stumbled onto this, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Something you can learn from there. If you're curious about that, actually, how you add that, that's over in the add-ons here. So, and you can only do this on the desktop only, so you're not able to do this from the app or anything else. But then with the add-ons, you can search for that NCS add-on and you can click to add that extension or add-on, which could then help you add some of that music down the road. So that's under this learn feature. Also under this learn feature, if you go to how-tos, you can scroll. There's all sorts of how-tos I encourage you to check out sometimes, like how-tos with design and photography and video. The video might be nice to maybe go over how to add closed captioning if you have video with words so that your videos are properly digitally accessible for social media. But if, you can also then head up to the social media tab. And if you arrow over to see more of their videos, right there's a tutorial on create a one of a kind Instagram carousel post. And in this little walkthrough video, they're using the template that we chose. So this little learn piece may have jumped up for you automatically. So if you accidentally closed it out or moved from that phase, it's just the little light bulb icon up in your top bar. And so, yes, you could work through this tutorial here, get started, and scroll through and follow those step-by-step instructions if you would like to. Don't have to, you can just keep following along in this video too. And again, encourage you to check out some of those other learning aspects from that tab. Okay, so I'm not going to spend too much time actually designing and editing. I'm just going to show you a few tricks. I'm going to show you how to, again, export and get this out of Adobe Express. That way I can give you more time to apply and try these things on your own and show me what you've learned. So I'm not going to edit any of this. I'm not going to change the text. I kind of already showed you how to do that in another video. But what I will do is maybe show you down here how you can add another page. So let's say I want another one that's similar to this one. Like I'm going to have something that introduces a new product, and then the next slide might be the product, and maybe I'll have another slide with that product. I can either go new page, same size, and that's going to insert a new blank page that I can design from scratch. I'm going to go ahead and then delete that page. Or I can duplicate this one if I'm going to do maybe the exact same thing, only a different scent or whatever. You can easily reorder those slides so that you have them in the order you want them to show up on your feed. And then from here, you can go in and edit it. I'm just going to actually use some AI features. I'm going to use this insert object feature here, and I'm just gonna brush. So I'm using some AI pieces here. I'm just gonna go ahead and brush over this lavender. And I'm gonna say replace with, we'll say rosemary. Let's see what it does. Not very good. But I've got a few options I can choose from, and maybe I don't mind this one. And I think I could go ahead and work with that one. And I'm finished with that now, so I could close it. Now, the only downside is it's all in the same layer, and I can see that here because I would really like to revamp and resize and edit that. But for the sake of time, just trying to show you that, yes, I can make changes here and adjust any text to match and have my 3 different slides. And you get the idea. So exporting out of Adobe Express, we've already done before. So I would go ahead and hit download. Now notice it says one page selected. So I'm going to have to go ahead and choose all pages. So that way all my slides would be selected. And I can go ahead and you're going to want to probably leave this as PNG. I would also probably leave this as the 1080 by 1080. If you go any larger, it's going to tell you it's going to be blurry because it's increasing resolution that it wasn't built for. So you're going to probably want to leave that at 1080 by 1080. So I'll go ahead and download those. As you work on this yourself, spend a little bit of time creating, designing, right? Just coming up with something that you want to do. You don't have to use this template. You can use whatever template you would like to use. All right, let's see if that has downloaded. I think it has. I didn't name it, so I should have, because right now it's coming and downloaded as an untitled zip. So right up here is where you can title those so that when you download, you know what this is for. So I'll just retitle it now or call it Practice Carousel. I'm just going to go Practice Car. Shorten that up. And let's head to Meta Business Suite. so I can show you how you would schedule something like that. So in Meta Business Suite, I don't actually want to post this, so I'm just going to scroll ahead. Let's go into sometime here in March, and I will say, let's schedule a post. I'm going to cancel that. So you'll see post scheduling in Meta Business Suite, you're only allowed less than 30 days to schedule out. All right, so with that up there, I have both Facebook and Instagram highlighted. I'm going to show you one at a time with these. Since this is specifically talking about Instagram this time around, we're going to start there. And I'll go ahead and search for my items that I would have downloaded to my downloads folder. Now they were in a zip file, so I would need to actually go and uncompress that zip file first. So I'm going to go ahead and do that so that way I can select them. And now those should be showing up in my options here. So I can select those three image files. You see now why titling that file is important. And if I needed to swap the order of these products at all, I could swap their order. And this is a carousel on Instagram where you just kind of scroll through. It's really just multiple photos is all it is. But in advertising, that could be different ads that it scrolls through. And I'll show you some other ideas how you can design specifically kind of knowing that it's going to scroll like that. And so you, yeah, choose as many pictures or products as you want that you want to post. And it's just like normal. You can write a post to go with it and you can schedule that. I'm going to actually delete these and now show you the Facebook piece. So Facebook and carousels work differently. They don't work like Instagram. That's probably why in Adobe Express, when you were at that home screen for social media ads, that's probably why it says an Instagram carousel, because Facebook's work a little bit differently. So if I have Facebook selected and I choose these three photos, they actually show up in a row, not a carousel. And depending on how many photos I add, they might be in a grid, they might be um, in some type of collage, depending on the number I have. So they don't scroll at all. Now, maybe you like that. Maybe that would be good to create a design that was kind of continuous from one image to the next, but it definitely operates a little bit different and it changes your strategy for how you would do something like that. Yeah, I would say it's just more like a collage. And if you were to upload like 20 pictures, then you might see a couple on that first screen, and then they have to click into it to scroll through each and every one. If you wanted a true carousel in Facebook, you actually can't post it this way. So I'm going to cancel this. So you can do Instagram that way, but you can't do Facebook that way. If you wanted that true carousel aspect in Facebook from Meta and you're using Meta Business Suites, you would have to come down to the ads category in Meta. And we haven't explored that yet. So the ads category is great when you're looking for creating a specific ad. It's really no different than what you're doing, though. You're creating ads and you're scheduling them in Meta, and I could boost them, which means it adds that little link at the bottom, and that's exactly the same process. When you do it this way through the ads manager, the only thing you really get differently is some of those options like the carousel feature. So I hit create ad in that upper right hand corner. Let me show you that again. It's just right up here, create ad. And then you kind of start choosing a goal, and Facebook might help you try to create the ad for you. And based on what you choose here, you either get or you don't get the carousel option. So for instance, if I were to choose get more messages, my options here are different. and I don't really have, I can add additional media. So this may give me the carousel option. This is like, is what the other one is going to look like. So just depending on what you choose for that goal, you may get different options from this window. And I can change this goal to the other ones. I think the one I'm going to end up with is get more leads. And so it just might have changed or added a little bit feature. But what I really need to do the carousel post is I need this part right here. And it says media, 1 of 5. Select multiple images or videos to create a carousel. So that's what I'm looking for. If you choose an option and you don't see that, then you can't do the carousel from that option. You got to choose a different option. And it's already trying to create a carousel for me. So I'm going to end up getting rid of this image and selecting my own images. And so I preloaded some here, and so I'm going to use them. I'll just go 1, 2, 3. Notice how though it says 2, 3, 4. That's because it thinks my home screen is going to be my number one. So, and you'll see it down here in my timeline. Even though I didn't choose it from this list, it chose it for me. So in this timeline, I'm going to delete this one. So now I've got my 1, 2, 3. Select. And this is the carousel in Facebook and what that would look like. Normally I see a preview here, so I'm not quite sure why it's unable to generate that preview. But this is kind of show this isn't quite the preview. It's showing me too much. In a typical preview, you see the first ad and then a tiny bit of the second one. I'm just going to let this refresh and see if I can get this to show you this preview. Try this part again. Nope, I'm gonna close that. Okay, it looks like that preview came in. I just refreshed my page and kind of started that over. And so that's what that looks like with the carousel from Facebook. You can toggle that over and you see how you start to see a little bit of the next ad with it. And I think that can allow you to do some neat things when it comes to design, knowing that you kind of get that lead into the next track. All right, I'm going to cancel that as well. And now I'm going to show you or talk to you a little bit about designing carousel ads outside of Adobe Express. And this is where maybe an application like Illustrator comes in handy. And I know most of you may not have had Illustrator yet, and some of you have, though. So if you have had Illustrator, what that does for you is I think it gives you the power to custom design a little bit maybe easier than Adobe Express. Don't get me wrong, I think Adobe Express is great for quick stuff, and especially when you want templates and you can modify those templates. But if you also have things that are super easy or very specific and you know exactly what you need, or maybe you are purchasing a template from somewhere else online. And if you didn't know that was a thing, yes, that's a thing. Let me just show you one that I have. I think I just downloaded that as well. So let me go ahead and open that in my Finder to show you. So there are places online you can go to buy templates too. And here's an example of one that I'm showing my students where you can buy a pre-designed template, which why would a designer do that? A designer might do that because they don't have enough time to make everything. Time is always the factor. And that's why we use Adobe Express, is we just don't have time. It's not that we can't, it's just that we don't have time. And so some individuals might learn Canva or Adobe Express because they don't know how. They don't know how to use Illustrator. They don't know how. And so they need Adobe Express. They need Canva to do their designing. But when you know Illustrator and you know those other Adobe softwares and you've learned how to be a designer, you don't need it. You just use it because it's convenient and you can work faster. And that's a great reason to use it. And that's also why we might go download template designs, especially if there's something we think we can use. Like, I like this design. I may not use it all, but maybe I like pieces of it. Maybe I love these little dots in the corner and I want to use them. Maybe I like other aspects about it, but I also know I can open this up and customize this as much as I want. And I could have my photos sit here where the yellow block is. So you wouldn't see the yellow, you would see my photo clipped to that spot. So it just, Illustrator gives me so much more control to design exactly what I want. And so those of you who have had Illustrator, you have that flexibility to do that. And so I'm showing you kind of a carousel here. How would you create a carousel in Illustrator? Just multiple artboards, all the same size. So here I have three artboards at that 1080 by 1080 size. You can get those sizes from Adobe Express or Canva, which is helpful. And then now you can kind of see I was able to design like these little continuation looks that kind of show you that slide blending into the next slide, which is kind of fun. And I'm going to show you what that looks like when it actually gets loaded. But just because so far we've been learning everything in Adobe Express doesn't mean you can't branch out. And I actually think if you've had some of that other experience, it's good to branch out and be able to customize your design. Those of you who have not had Illustrator yet, yeah, you ought to probably want to you're going to want to stick to Adobe Express, and then once you do learn that piece of software, we do teach that online as a either dual enrollment option for our high school students or just open to the public online. We teach that in the fall. Or if you are in the program and join us on campus in person to take that course. And then once you learn that, that's just really going to advance your skills when you do go back to working with social media. So let me show you what something like this would look like loaded into Meta Business Suite. Since I'm still here, I'll do the ad piece first for Facebook. I'll go back into let's generate more leads. And I'm going to go ahead and select my media and I'll choose these three graphics, getting rid of the one it wants me to choose there. And I do need to adjust my ordering. So let me show you what happens if I don't change anything here. So if I come in here and this is the wrong ordering, I can't move them from this window. I have to go back to select, and then I have to make sure my one is my one and my two is my two. So that kind of a thing. So enjoy spring break. 1, 2, 3. So I want to make sure they're in order correctly down here. 1, 2, 3. And now you can see in that preview how that design is like leading to the next one. And you see that continuation kind of leading to the next one, which I think is fun. And you see that on some aspects on social media from time to time when it comes to carousels. I think that's kind of neat. I'm going to cancel this. If I were scheduling that using the planner, and scheduling that out for a post, I would probably schedule that just for Instagram. So that way I can control it. If I wanted it to go in both Instagram and Facebook, I would just have to make sure that I did one at a time. I would do one here and then I'd probably do the other one using the ads piece. And I don't have to, just because I use the ads doesn't mean I have to pay for it. There are options down the road. Maybe I'll go back and show you that. Like I can it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to cost money because I chose the ad piece. I'm going to add photos. I'll go ahead and choose my 3 images that I have. One, two, three. And the only difference between Instagram and Facebook is in Instagram, you don't really get that lead into, like I don't start seeing part of the next one, not unless I were to probably intentionally design it that way. What do I mean by that? That means when I'm actually designing this 1080 by 1080, I actually design a little sliver of it to look like it's the next one. I could get really tricky with that. And that would be pretty easy to do in Illustrator if I was designing that all custom by myself. And okay, so that's there. I'm going to cancel that. And I'll go back to that ads piece just to show you the money. maybe. So when you're creating ads towards the bot, well, first of all, you have a choice to what this button says. And that's just, I didn't go any further than that. And right here is where I have a choice to what the button label is going to be. So I could choose learn more, get a quote, sign up. I can probably make my own too. I could probably create one, which I may have created the apply now button to have. You get to choose what this is going to say. So I can change that down here. Like if you want it to and say, I don't know if I'd have it say enroll today because this says apply now or yeah, click to enroll, something. You can have it that say whatever you want. You can choose any type of ad category or this advantage creative. Let's Facebook decide where this is going to go so that it can maybe reach more people. And it's usually suggested that you leave that on. If you're ever not sure what any of these things are doing, you can hit the little info button and it kind of tells you what that category is about. Audience, you can actually create your own audience too. So you can hit create new and um, which depending on what your business is about, I would maybe suggest. So I've actually created an audience for Southwest Tech District. Otherwise, right now, by default, it was going to everyone in the United States. I don't know if you saw that. Let's just go to this Advantage Plus audience. Yeah, it's going to everyone in the United States with a minimum age of 18. So if I were to choose this district one I would created, you can see it's going to stick just within my location. And I also changed the age ranges. Like I dropped it down to 16. That way we could reach students before they commit to their high schools. Um, and this even says the minimum age is too low. So Meta may have made changes since the last time I created this audience details. So now it looks like I'm going to have to modify my audience, which is unfortunate because I would say our target market, we really would want it to be more to that 16. But this is probably a good thing for some of that. Um, Ad transparency, you can look at setting some things up there, scheduling, and then here's your daily budget. So I can slide this down to, it looks like as low as $3. $3 is the minimum budget required based on your goal that you select. So depending on what goal you choose, you may be able to get this money even lower. Now, can I change this to be something else? And this might say, nope, the minimum budget is 3. So that's my daily budget, and I can choose how long this is going to run. So I can tell this just to run for a day, and my total is going to be $3. Yeah, so you kind of get to choose how much maybe you would want to spend on an ad like that. So if I were to run that for 7 days, right? I can choose to do that um and then it kind of tells me about my impressions per day. And then I thought, yes, if you want to know then about how much that's going to cost, there's a little payment summary over here. And they're giving you an estimated number of impressions and an estimated number of leads based on that. And again, you can hit the info button and that would tell you a little bit more about that aspect here with doing that. So I may have told some of you that I might be boosting some of your ads. Maybe I boosted some of your ads that you did for Facebook. And that's so you can start to see the difference between what happens to impressions when they're boosted versus not boosted. What boosted really means is that I pay Meta to push that ad out to more people. And I'm the only one who can boost because of the credit card aspects. So, but when you are marketing for yourself or another employer, that's probably all entered. And yeah, you could have that ability to boost, which is essentially paying for clicks kind of a thing. That is a little bit then on carousel ads in Meta Business Suite. plus the boosting and the whole ads category. And that's a little bit more knowledge for you then on Adobe Express and some other learn tools. If you ever get in there and want to look at that learn feature when you're creating something, it doesn't matter what you're creating, that little light bulb up there, you can click to learn more. And you can kind of look at all the other different stuff that you might want to learn from. If you are creating social media ads, particularly for Instagram, and you're going to use music, which, by the way, I think music is great, especially for reels and stories. Research has shown that you get a larger reach when you do include audio. And I think your reach is maximized when you include trending audio. So, a lot of times that trending audio is copyrighted. So maybe adding that add-on, that NCS add-on, can help you explore with adding some of that trending audio. What I'd like you to do now is spend a little time and create maybe a 3 graphic carousel, just like you saw me. This isn't for your project. This is just for practice. So it doesn't have to be your best work. It's just work to show me that you're out here learning and trying and exploring. And then you can apply what you learned from this when you are working on your project for assignment number 6. You can drop those image files into the discussion board for this activity. You'll see that in Schoology here. Just go ahead and submit those files right there to the discussion board. And then your classmates can kind of see too what you've done because they might be like, oh, I didn't think about something like that. Or wow, that's really cool. And who knows, you might do something that somebody else is inspired from. If you have had Illustrator experience and you want to give this a whirl, putting something easy together like this in Illustrator, feel free to do that. It's just one or the other. Either try to do something in Adobe Express or Illustrator. And then you don't have to schedule anything in Meta Business Suite. Please don't. That part was just for me to show you for when we get to posting down the road. Other than that, yeah, you'll just upload that into the Schoology discussion board. As always, if you have questions, please feel free to reach out and have a great rest of your day.